Good morning, friends. I'm back. Okay, so Facebook tried to keep me off, but actually it was just my phone probably glitching. I tried to get online to do a live on Saturday, and Facebook was saying, check your internet connection. Of course, I was using other devices at the time, so I knew it wasn't my internet connection. I did everything I could think of. But last night I was desperate, and I went to my Chalk Couture group and I said, hey, does anybody have this problem before? And somebody said they had to uninstall Facebook from their phone and then reinstall it, and it had worked for them. So I was like, well, I'm just desperate enough. I will uninstall it and install it. So it took a little time to make it happen. It was a little frustrating, all those things that happen when you deal with your phone and all those difficult kinds of figuring out things. But good news, it worked, and so I'm able to do lives. So I am back and happy to be here and just report on what I've learned through this process. Is sometimes Facebook is crazy on your phone or anywhere. Anyway, you can see this is our project today. So, from Chalk Couture, you can purchase a pillow cover. So, you get 2 in the package. Sorry for the rattling noise. Chalk Couture has these really cute, I believe they're 100% cotton. Let me see if I can find a label inside here that tells me. I should have known that information. But it's an 18 by 18. It's kind of a canvas fabric. Very sturdy, very well made. It's not flimsy. I'm not worried about... Good morning, Christy. Thanks for joining us. I'm not worried about, it getting... I'm not worried about the zipper. The zipper's really heavy duty, good quality. It closes. You can see it closes really nicely. So it's pretty well made. Not something that I'd be embarrassed to have on my sofa. It does have the little Chalk Couture tag here. The reason they're this color is they want to give you the option of dyeing this cover if you want it to be a different color. And you can use the ink to dye it. So there's a method that you can use to dye it, just regular dye, or you could do a tie-dye effect. I saw a gal, she put ice cubes put some dye in, and then kind of bundled it all up together. I think she put it in her washing machine. Don't quote me on that. I will find that method. I'll see if I can find the video for that method and put it up so you guys can see it. It might have even been one of the videos I think it was one of the videos I showed you guys. So it might already be on the page. But I can link that video. So today I have this really cute Eclectic ABCs. And for my classroom, I really want an ABC pillow. My students really love when I have pillows that they can grab and they can go lay down on the floor with a book. That's a big treat in my classroom. So my goal today is to put this Eclectic ABCs onto the pillow cover. So I have my pillow cover ready to go. Remember, we got 2 in my package. And I have, inside I have my sticky mat, and I've stuck it down really well so my fabric is nice and flat. I don't want any big, I did iron my cover. It comes pretty wrinkled, but I did iron it so that I got some of those big wrinkles out. Okay? So I had this all set up on Saturday and then didn't get to use it, so I just left it here. Good morning, Teresa. Glad you're here. All right, so I'm going to carefully, because we know that this Eclectic ABC transfer really got me the last time I tried to use it. If you didn't see that one, go back and watch the black canvas with the rooster. My goodness, that was a difficult project only because this transfer was so sticky, and it's sticky right now, that it made it really difficult when I tried to put it down. So when I'm dealing with these really big transfers, if I'm smart, what I do is I just take the sticky off of half of it, and I'm going to lay that down. I can reposition it in a minute, but I'm going to take that piece off, and then I'm just going to pull from this side. Hopefully you can make sense what I'm doing. I'm just going to pull it right off onto my fabric so that transfer does not have a chance to get sideways with me and get sticky on top of each other. All right. So I have my really big transfer. I'm just going to use the pillowcase itself to kind of line this up. They are the same size. It's an 18 by 18 transfer, and it's an 18 by 18 pillowcase. So I'm going to just kind of lay this out. And I know it's not going to matter that much if they're, not 100% straight. When a pillow is being used, it's not going to be it's not like a picture hanging on a wall, right? It's going to be a little bit askew. Especially in the classroom, it's going to be askew all the time. Okay, so I'm making sure I have really good contact. I am going to use ink today because I'm using a fabric that I want to be able to wash. If I use my Chalk Couture inks, I will be able to wash them and dry them, and I won't have any problems with my ink holding up. It's a great product. So I'm going to use black. I'm going to use a few different colors. I'm going to use black. In my classroom, I have a lot of teal and pink. I like the blue and pink, boy and girl kind of thing. I have up on my classroom walls, I have some big blue paper and some pink paper, and that's it's the background color for those walls. And I'm going to throw some yellow in there. So I have 4 colors I'm going to use today I think they look nice together. They're definitely all over my classroom, so I think it'll pull in those colors. I have some containers from IKEA that have this pink, teal, and pink, and I have black containers as well. And I also have yellow in another set of containers. So I think it'll pull those colors in. Those probably wouldn't be the colors that you might use for your home or for a kid's room, but those are the colors that I think I'm going to use today. So I've gone ahead and kind of thought out about what colors or what letters I want what colors. So I have a plan in mind so that I kind of spread the colors out so that they're not right next to each other. I am using ink, so I have to make sure that when I use my ink, I'm going back and forth on the fabric. I want to go several different directions. And I don't have to worry as much about the ink drying like I do with regular Chalk Couture chalk paste. I just realized I've taken some of my squeegees away. I was doing some work on some other projects yesterday, working on some more porch leaners. All right. So we're going to get this going. I do have my sprinkle bucket ready, so I'm going to try really hard to remember it's Monday. That's when I do my sprinkle bucket. If you want to sprinkle, which means S-H-A-R-E, this video, or memes that I post. It helps my page. Facebook likes it when viewers like the program enough to want their friends to see it. So they encourage us to encourage you guys to do that. And when you sprinkle, I put your name in the bucket because I want to say thank you. Today I will draw a name out, and that person will receive a tea towel from me. So I will coordinate with that person when I pick their name, and we'll work on either getting their address, or if they're local, setting up a time when we can get together. All right, let's go ahead and get this party started. So I'm going to use black. I'm going to do the A and the D in black. So there are about 4 or 5 different fonts in this transfer. And I really love this ABC transfer. So as a teacher, you know, this makes my heart happy to see all these letters, different fun fonts. I like my students to see different fonts. When they read books, they're going to encounter different fonts. So I like for them to have that experience, seeing that letters are made differently. Okay. So there's really no rhyme or reason to why I chose which letters I chose, other than I tried to kind of make the same fonts, the same color. I don't know why. Just had to choose something, so I did. Alright, so I said A and D would be black, and then I said B and G would be pink. So as you can see, this is a big, big transfer. It's going to take me a little bit of time to chalk it, but I'm excited about it. When I first saw this transfer, I knew I had to have it. Kindergarten teacher dream come true. And I love this bubblegum pink. It's not really called bubblegum pink. It is called Couture Coral. But to me, it's bubblegum pink. So I hope you guys had a great weekend. We actually babysat a dog. My husband's son and his girlfriend have a really, really cute pup. Her name is Stella, and she is stellar. She's such a good dog. They've done such a good job with that pup. So she's been a real fun addition. We've had her since Friday, and all 3 of us have really loved her. My son Joe, we haven't had a dog for quite a few years. So he would love to have a dog, but he's also allergic to dander, and he tends to need his Benadryl, and he did need his Benadryl. He does have a friend who has cats, and he goes over there, and he's kind of built up a little bit of a tolerance to it, mostly to that particular cat. Every animal's different with the dander and things. And he did have to take his Benadryl with the pup, which he doesn't mind. And I don't mind as long as he, you know, it doesn't make him sick. Alright, and then E is going to be yellow. So I'm thinking I will do these first letters, and then I'll pull the transfer up, just so that it's not pressing down hard. I don't think the ink would dry, but I really haven't done ink that much, so I don't want to make a mistake on this. I really want it to look nice and work well. So I won't have students in my classroom, at least not this first trimester. We're going the first trimester virtual, but I'm hoping that we will be going face-to-face eventually this year. That's my hope. Alright, so let's pull this up. We'll take a look at these letters, and I'm just going to make sure I don't lay it back on this. I've done that before, and then it leaves ink or chalk in the open spaces. So don't do that. Don't do what I've done in the past. I mean, don't make that mistake. You can see it's pretty sticky. This transfer is new. Over time, the transfers get less sticky, but they will still work for quite a while. So I have a few that are starting to get less sticky. I can tell they're getting less sticky, but I can also tell they're still working. I'm going to add a little bit of chalk where I can see it's pulling up. And there are some spaces on this that are meant to be the positive space. They're meant to have no chalk there. So that can be kind of tricky to figure out what is what is supposed to look like that and what isn't. Okay, so as you can see, made a pretty good print. I like it. I like the colors. Okay, so I'm going to now press back down these areas that I know I'm going to be chalking. Make sure I'm not leaving air bubbles. If you leave air bubbles, you get kind of a wonky look. You can go back and press it back down and chalk again or ink again, and it does just fine. But it does kind of leave an opening. Okay, L and M are black. Those are the only two letters that are together, that have the same color right next to each other. But I think that's okay. I don't think I have any others that are quite so close to each other. But the fun part of this really is, making your own design. When you do Chalk Couture, you get to make the decisions. There are lots of, if you're a designer, you get the benefit of seeing other designers' ideas. We share things that we make, and we share, tips when we've figured out something new or made a big fail. We can share that too, because other people have tried different things. We can help each other. I is going to be pink. Christy, yes, the ink is just as easy. It is actually, in some ways, it's a little bit easier because the consistency. You see, I didn't even have to. I did not have to stir that. The ink is a different product, and it's still chalk, but it's a little different. And the consistency is so nice. That's one of the challenges of chalk, is that, let's see, K and N. The chalk gets dried out, and you do have to really be careful about the drying time of the chalk. You don't have that issue as much with the ink. The only challenge with ink is that once it's on, it's on. So if I made a mistake, I would just have to either have to live with it, or try to get a Clorox wipe quick enough, but most likely I'm not going to be quick enough. But as you can see, like right now, I'm probably not going to make a mistake. My mistake is probably going to happen when I'm moving this around after I take my transfer off. Could be when I'm taking my transfer off. If I'm not really careful, I could touch, you know, part of my pillowcase with the transfer that has ink on it. It's a great question, Christy. Thanks for asking that. And the other difficult part is after I'm letting it dry. If I'm trying to do, like, taking out this mat, you really can't take out the mat until it's dry. So you don't want to... Okay, yellow is going to be J, H, and O. So these letters. So you really don't want to move it around. You just want to leave it, you know, don't try to do too much with it while it's wet. Just let it be. Sometimes I get impatient and want to try to dry it, try to heat set it, you know, do all that. And you just can't play around with it till it's dry. And the ink does take longer to dry. You can blow it dry, but it's probably best just to let it dry, just so you're not handling it. And if you let it dry 24 hours and then you do your heat set, it's probably the safest way to do it. I see different designers say different things as far as how long they let it dry. I have dried it with a hair dryer and heat set it right away, and it works. It's not that it doesn't work, it's just kind of the risk of moving it around. So you guys can see how this ink works. It works just like this for a t-shirt. This would be a real cute t-shirt for a teacher. On the rooster project, I took individual letters off of this and made words. So I'm trying to decide. I really just think I probably want one of this big print with the letters. I may have to do a t-shirt with it before, but I want to cut the letters apart so that I can use them more, you know, more simply than I did on that live where it was really hard with this big transfer. All right, let's pull these up, see how these letters did. If I need to, I'll add a little more ink to my letters. Yeah, I think that J could use a little more ink. Not crazy about that J for kindergarten. It's so stylized, more like a cursive. Kind of hard for kindergartners to know that's a J. But other than that, I like the fonts that they chose. I know that the designer that I work under, these letters were her brainchild. This is something that she wanted. She created this idea. I don't know if she actually chose the fonts, went that far in the creating of it, but I know that she was very excited to see this idea because it was her idea. Okay, so I have those letters done. I have a couple more rounds. This is kind of a long process. It takes a little bit of time, but nothing is difficult about it, you know. It's just takes a little patience, making sure your letters are sticking down, making sure you pull it up so that your ink doesn't dry in your stencil, your transfer. All right, R and T are black. R and T. So what colors would you guys use? If you were doing this big ABC transfer, what colors would you use? And who would you use it for? who can you imagine making this for? Or would you make it for yourself? Let me know in the comments. Thanks, Christy. I appreciate your input. I tried to get my iPad set up today. I'm telling you, technology and me right now, we are just not kicking it together anyway. It's kicking me. Y and V. Y and V in black. So I was trying to get the iPad set up, but then it was like, it's time to get started. Gotta quit messing around with this stuff. So I can't see your comments as well today. My setup is better. I like this overhead as far as you guys being able to see. And when I could get my iPad up, I like being able to see the comments through the iPad. I just haven't done that enough yet to make it quick and easy in the mornings. I was a little tired this morning. I think I was outside almost all day. Definitely have a little bit of sun, a little bit of a sunburn, just a tiny bit, not a lot, but definitely have some color. I did some work in the garden. We had green beans that our green bean plants have just gone crazy. I think the weather has been perfect here for it, and our bean plants were growing up and over the top. We put up teepees this year, so we put about, we started with 4 poles on each tent, and we've had to add a pole because they got so heavy. We used some bamboo poles. We actually have bamboo growing in our yard, so instead of going to buy bamboo stakes or poles, we just clean off some of those. We take them down. Bamboo's so interesting. It's really cool to see how it grows and how strong it is. It's crazy strong. So we used 4, like I said, we had 4 bamboo poles. Then we had to add kind of a metal, more of a metal pole off to the side because they were leaning. They're so heavy. And now that metal pole is all covered with beans. They're not going anywhere, but it's just slowly everything's kind of just getting too heavy. So my husband got up on a ladder and cut off the very tops of the bean plants because they were just too heavy. And we found so many huge beans up in the top that we couldn't see and we couldn't reach. So we're going to have to come up with a different plan for beans next year. We definitely need a better method that does not cause so much craziness. And we had tomatoes doing the same thing. I considered buying some new cages for the tomatoes this year, but we had already gone kind of crazy purchasing everything. We haven't done a garden in years, either one of us, so we had to invest in some not tools. He had plenty of tools, but we had, the paraphernalia that go along with gardening. We had to spend some money on. And but we're loving this. I got 4-gallon bags of green beans off of my plants yesterday. So that's crazy. In one day, 4 gallons 4-gallon bags, and I mean they're full. The Ziploc bags, the gallon bags, it's crazy. Like, how much crazier could that be, right? All right, we're coming in the home stretch. We've got, so as you can see, I kind of picked the same font and did that all the same color. You wouldn't have to do it that way. You could do it whatever way you like. I was just trying to find a simple way to divide up the letters, and it looked like the fonts had been dispersed pretty well. They weren't sitting right next to each other most of the time, so I went with that idea. And then we have yellow, S and W, last 2 letters. Yay! It's kind of a long project. All right, S and W. Almost done. So I'm trying to decide what days I'm going to keep going live. I would love to keep going 5 days a week in the morning, but I don't know that that's realistic when I'm back working full time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Why don't you guys give me a comment? If I didn't go at 7 a.m. In the morning, like some days I will. I know I would like to keep this consistent. I know some people get up and that they like having something like this to watch. That's how I started, was watching someone in the morning. It was kind of nice to, you know, have that first thing in the morning. Let's say if I did like Tuesday, Thursday in the morning, what time on Wednesday, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday would you watch? Like, would you be able to watch at, say, 7 p.m.? Like if I did a 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Teresa, I think that's late for you, isn't it? That's like, because you're like East Coast, right? So that'd be 10 o'clock for you. That may be bedtime. That's the only thing, is if I don't go early, anything on the west or on the East Coast, it's pretty late for them. But I would love to get some input from you guys. So what time of day would you be interested in watching? Because I'm thinking I could do, if I did like 6:30 p.m., that's like after dinner usually for us, and I could make sure that it was. Have to feed my family first. But if I did like a 6:30 p.m., then that's 9:30 p.m. on the East Coast. So anybody who's watching over there would be able to see and enjoy it too. Live, and of course you don't have to watch live. This is all recorded so you can see it at any time. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's going to get, guys. Ah, I like it. It reminds me of my classroom. Those colors have really become my classroom colors. It just reminds me of my classroom. Christy, it was a lot of beans. It is a lot of beans. My fridge is full of those beans. But we absolutely love them. It's amazing what that fresh produce does. How different it is. So I'm going to do the same as I do with the chalk. I'm just going to wipe off that extra ink, put it right back in my container. I'm going to grab something to lay this down on. I'm going to close up my lid. I want to make sure that my inks are getting closed. Thanks, Christy. That's definitely the colors in my classroom, huh? Christy knows she was a teacher at Hazelwood, where I teach, and she's been in there many, many times. So I'm just going to make sure my inks are closed. I'm not so worried about them drying out, but I do need to worry about them drying out too. I want to keep all of my tools and my inks and chalks in good shape. I've never had to add water to inks, but I've been told that you can add water if your inks get dried out. I'm assuming if you used your inks as often as you used your chalks, you might have the same issue. I just have not, I don't have as big a variety of ink colors because I really haven't focused on that. I've got a good assortment. I've got a rainbow of colors for sure, but my focus has probably been more on chalking. So what I needed to do is just set this aside. Like I say, I do have my little mat in here, my sticky mat. So when it's dry, I will pull the sticky mat out. I will take my iron and I will iron across and hold it down for 4 minutes all over. I will cover it. So I have, I just have a piece of that drop cloth that I've used for different things. And I just take a piece of that and I lay it over the top, just one single layer, lay it over the top, and I would iron over it. And that keeps the color off of my iron, so I'm not going to transfer it to something else. It also keeps me from pulling that color up. If it was dry enough, I think it would be fine, but I always like to have that layer of protection over my work. You could use parchment paper, anything that's thin. You don't want a big thick towel. You're not going to get enough heat down to your project. All right, I'm going to pull this aside and get it out of the way so I don't touch it and make a problem on it. All right, let's grab our sprinkle jar. I have quite a few names in here today. I've had a lot of friends sharing, so thank you if you were one who has been sprinkling the love. As you can see, there's a lot of names down in there. So I'm going to reach in and stir it around and grab one name. Let's see who our winner is. Amy Ingram. Amy Ingram, I will send you a message and we'll get together and I'll get a towel to you. We can talk about what you would like on your tea towel. I haven't made a tea towel yet for this week's winner, so you just let me know. I can either show you different things or we can do something custom, but I would love to make you a tea towel and say thank you so much for sharing my videos, because that helps this page so much. Thank you guys. It has been so much fun this morning, and thanks for being so patient with me with all the technical things. I'd love to hear your input. If you have a time that you would like to be able to see these videos in the evening, that would help me make some decisions. I'm probably going to go in the morning for at least either 2 or 3 days in the mornings, and then do some evening times. Weekends are great because there's so many people on Facebook, so I might just do a weekend, maybe do three mornings, and then Saturday and Sunday. But I would love your input, trying to make my decision based on my viewers. So thanks, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Get out there and make it a great day. Bye, guys.